So we've gotten a bunch of questions from our viewers, and I
Good.
I thought it would be fun to answer some of these if you don't mind.
Okay. I know it'd be great.
All right, so here's one. Given that we are coming out of pandemic mode, what's the next new wave on the horizon to affect supply chain innovation?
Hmm. Next innovation. Well, it's interesting that if you think about prior to the pandemic, there was a lot of work on AI, artificial intelligence, and there was a lot of work on systemic changes and processes and all sorts of kinds of things, different modes, how people would deliver. I mean, we heard a lot about it for the companies that everyone lives with every day and orders from every day about how they can deliver it to your door even before you even thought you wanted something or whatever. But one of the things that I think is the next innovation is really around people. And, the pandemic has forced everyone, whether they're in supply chain or finance or any function, to think about things differently. And one of the things that I've seen, especially coming out of a lot of the business schools, the people that are well versed now in supply chain, they do this thing called, and it's a term that we created, it's called supply chain stacking, meaning they've taken these other technologies of, like I said, AI and systems and processes and process mapping and value mapping, all these different kind of concepts, and they've now stacked them and tiered them in such a way that they're trying to make it practical. How does this thing going to work for either the company they work for, the consulting business they're in, the market they're in, the location they're in, the jurisdiction, because there's all these different kind of moving parts now and there always were, by the way, there always were things about regulatory and supply and, but Nicole, from the whole notion of, do you put your supply closer to the customers or closer to the manufacturing and that kind of thing? So this stacking element says to the world, to the global market, that things are changing, but the real key is the people, the people thinking differently. And again, it's not just the people coming out of business school, although that becomes real obvious because they have a lot of energy, a lot of focus. They're looking at things differently and asking all the questions of, so what, why not, how come, why can't we, kind of thing, which is great. It's great energy. But as the people that are looking at everything that goes on in supply chain differently, in a different time, we always did, but it was always in little bits. Let's work on this, let's work on that, let's try to do this differently. Now what we're seeing is this wholesale look at everything and how does it stack up. So this concept of supply chain stacking says we're going to put technology and then people, the skills. So at the end of the day, I think what's really the innovation is the skill set. The skill set being required to operate in this new world, in this new global environment. So there's some people that think that this thing is over. It's far from over, because the lingering effects of this will last a generation. And so the innovation is the people and how they think, and those that can't think different and refuse to look at themselves or the function different, they're going to wither and go away and won't be impactful at all. It's that the people, the innovation is coming from the people themselves.
So looking at the whole environment holistically. So
Yeah.
seeing not only the details, but also the bigger picture of the world that we're living in.
Bingo, you got it. And then I think, to your point, is taking all those things that we have at our disposal from, even the Zoom calls like this are teaching people to do business maybe a little different. It may not be as comfortable as the face-to-face, but face-to-face is coming back. But this isn't going away either. And so people are starting to realize, oh, wait a minute. And again, this is the innovation. It's coming from the people, with the people, and in the people on how they operate. And what we're starting to hear a lot from clients, from academia, is the stacking notion is saying, again, and each organization won't need to use every piece of it, but they're starting to figure out, like you said, and that was a great way you described it, holistic. how does it all kind of, and why is it going that way? And it's not one size fits all.
If you like this video, make sure to hit like and subscribe. See you next time.